Hello, my name is Peyk Rضایی and welcome to my kitchen here in Southern California. Happy Nowrooz, and I hope you all enjoy spring days. Today in this session I'm gonna go cover how you can make one of the most beloved Persian sweets called Rضایی, means long leg. Why? Because it gets its shape, it's long and it looks like a long leg. It's very, very delicious. Different part of Iran makes it in different ways. Perhaps different regions make it in a way that they have their ingredients available to them. I chose to show you how people in Mashhad make this, and this is the one that I always use. It is in my Nowrooz collection sweets boxes, and I love it the most. As always, I have my own twist to it, and you'll see how I am going to do it. People in Mashhad use 3 different flour to make this a specific, very delicious pastry. They use chickpea flour, just the wheat flour or baking flour, all-purpose flour, and rice flour. You are more than welcome to substitute that all-purpose flour to a gluten-free flour, and then you have a whole gluten-free or gluten-free ingredients cookie at the end. So what you need to do is you need to understand how spices work in this specific recipe. So we are going to use cardamom, and I'm going to add saffron on top of it, but normally you don't use saffron in the original recipe. What they do, they use a little bit of egg wash, a little bit of a sesame seed, and then in that specific recipe they use ginger powder. I do not use ginger powder, but you are more than welcome to add it if you like that tang of it. I only use cardamom. You know, the whole region of Iran benefits from the richness of cardamom, of saffron, of rosewater. These are the 3 most important Persian spices that we all love, and we all use in any kind of dishes, savory or sweet. So I'm going to use only cardamom, and then I'm going to top it with saffron, and that's it. So where do this very delicious cookie gets its flavor? It gets it from chickpea. I personally think because chickpea has that little tang at the end, it's kind of rich, it makes it different. It's not just like a piece of a bread that happens to have saffron on top. It just plays a huge role, specifically because we are using more of a chickpea flour than the other 2. So you have the list of ingredients and the recipe in your hand. So I'm just going to show you and demonstrate how you can do this. So this is a very important step. You don't want to miss that. You're going to stir you're going to mix it together, all the 3 type of the flour, and then you are going to continue stirring once you add your cardamom. You know me, I love cardamom. I am very generous when it comes to cardamom. You need to grind your cardamom first in a coffee grinder, and I'm using the green cardamom. It smells so good, and you know, good 3 teaspoons of the cardamom. You just continue stirring, and you are going to sift this 2 or 3 times, and yes, you need to do this, and no, you cannot skip it. Do not be lazy. I love that little piece of cardamom because I didn't grind them all the way. You can do that, but I always love to keep some of that green parts to this whole. Then when you like take a bite, you can still feel it. I keep some, and then I take some out. Once you start sifting this flour mixture, you are going to be surprised that how much of a different things you find in your flour. So that's why it is very, very important. Don't get lazy. It's just fun. Look at it that way, okay? And keep sifting. As I told you, I keep some of the green part of the cardamom inside the mixed flour, and I just toss it away. Some of them depends on if I see any other stuff in that sifter. Okay. Okay, I got the idea of adding saffron on top of this beautiful sweet from the fact that saffron is from Mashhad, a very good saffron are from Mashhad, and then this is a recipe originally from Mashhad, and I was like, why not? Saffron, original recipe, so they should marry together very nicely. And as a matter of fact, they do. They look very beautiful, and they also taste very, very good. Now my mixture is ready. So in a bowl of a mixer, you're gonna put your sugar and your butter, and you're just gonna whisk them together, and to the point that it becomes fluffy and kind of double its size. So you don't want to go crazy about it. You don't want to go all the way. As long as you can get them mixed and it's kind of fluffy and you can tell that the butter feels lighter, that's enough. Always, if you are using a stand mixer, stop it in the middle of the process. Make sure you get everything that stick on the bottom of the bowl, and you take it out, and then you continue beating it. Again, one more time. And almost done. Remember, these recipes are coming from like old times. Back then they didn't have mixer, so you don't need to have mixer. You can always use just, you know, hand mixer, but it will be more of a work for you, but it's fun. And trust me, it's all worth it. One little more time, so maybe one more minute, and then I'm done. Now you're gonna mix, now you're gonna add your eggs one at a time. Every time you add an egg, you're gonna count to 15, okay? And then you add the next one. stop the mixer and using your spatula, go all the way down. Take everything from that bottom to the top and let it stir for another good 1 minute in a medium to kind of high speed. Depends on the kind of a mixer you are using. Now this is ready. This was eggs and this was sugar, this was butter. We mix them together and then we add our 4 eggs to this. And now I'm gonna add my flour mixture, 1 spoon at a time on a low speed. Depends on the size of your egg. This dough at this stage can be very thick or it can be a little bit stickier than what you can see here. If you're using large eggs, so definitely it will be more sticky, or if you're using small eggs like I did, you're going to end up having a kind of a thicker dough. So they both are fine. Okay, I'm gonna have this machine run for another maybe 45 seconds till everything gets combined. As you can see, I am constantly trying to move the dough inside the bowl, making sure all of it gets mixed with the other part. So we all know Persian dough are tired and they need to rest. So you need to let this dough rest over the night or a good 5-6 hours, and then you can start rolling it out and you can start shaping it to the way that you like, and then you can bake it. I am not going to let that start like the rest right now, and I'm going to show you how you can roll it out and how you can work with it. But definitely once you're doing it, you need to let that dough rest. So you definitely need this much of paderazzi in your Nowrooz vacation. So the dough is ready. Let me clean up here a little bit. You are going to let that rest for good 5 or 6 hours or over the night. You're going to cover it with a table a cloth or just a little bit of a plastic wrap, and then not in the fridge, just on a countertop, and you let it sit. So I'm going to show you just a little bit of this dough, how you can roll it out and how you can make that perfect shape of paderazzi. Okay, you need a little bit of that chickpea flour to dust the surface, and we are going to put that on top, and we are going to let that sit while we are making our egg wash. How you make your egg wash for this specific recipe? You're going to use some saffron. How? You need to grind the saffron with a little bit of a sugar cube first, and then you put like just the very tip of a teaspoon, you put it in a glass jar, and then you put 1 ice cube on top of it. Let that ice cube melt away. As the ice cube melts away, the saffron blooms, and you can feel, because the aroma is in the kitchen right now and the color is very pretty. To this, I'm gonna add 1 egg yolk. You can save the egg white for later. And as you can see, I kind of don't have a thumb, so it's a little bit harder for me. Okay. You try to get all the egg whites off of this. And you add 1 egg white to that saffron. Okay, to this I'm gonna add a little bit of a festival water or bidmeshk, just a little bit, and then you use a brush and you mix that yolk here with saffron and the festival water. And you can use that brush, take any extra of that white that is still in that mixer out, because you definitely don't want to use that and put that on the top of your cookies. And this is a time you definitely want to preheat your oven, 335 degrees Fahrenheit. So we have our egg wash, we have our dough. I need a roller, and I need a sheet tray, and I need to use a cutter. So we dust our surface with a little bit of a chickpea flour. Use your roller, go over this, and I would say go like all the way till you reach that kind of a 5 millimeter thickness. And then I am using this cutter. You are more than welcome to use any cutter that you want. And you take it out very gently. You put it in the sheet covered with the parchment paper. Again, like that. Very, very easy. Sometimes you can take the dough out with your cutter. Sometimes it just tends to stay, and then you use your spatula and you can take it out. As you can see, this is very, very nice and pretty. It is important to get them nice and pretty at this stage, because the nicer they look like at this stage, it will be the finer when they are cooked. You'll see what I'm saying. So definitely take some time and master that technique of rolling and cutting using cutter. So if it's too thin, put it back. And remember, I'm just using one little piece. Once this dough rested and it's easier to work with, and you can roll big chunks, and it's much easier than what I am. And so once it's nice and flat, you use your cutter. Again, sometimes it comes out, depends on how sticky is your surface. and sometimes it doesn't. Let's say this sheet tray is full. Now you're using your brush and you're gonna apply that egg wash on top of your Padar Aziz. If you add more saffron here, you get a kind of a richer color, like a more like an orange color, but this is very good enough. So at this stage, I would just like tilt the head of these cookies to one side, and once you do that, they look like a paisley once they're done, once they're cooked, and it's very pretty. You're gonna apply that one more time, and it is crucial to do it 2 coat, and so don't skip that step because it makes a huge difference to the final look of this very, very sweet, easy and delicious Persian cookie. Okay, so I'm just waiting for my oven to be ready to 335°F, and then I'm gonna bake this for 12 minutes only on a metal rack, and after that it is ready to eat, and it gets cold very, very fast, and like once it's out of the oven, 10 minutes after that you can have it. It's fresh, it's a little bit crunchy, it has that top coat of the saffron and a very, very flavorful because of the cardamom, of the chickpea flour, of the pussy willow water, and it's very, very yummy. It's once you put it in your mouth, you don't feel that egg that is on top. Don't worry, it's not eggy, it doesn't feel like, or it doesn't smell like egg. Okay, this is how it will look like after 12 minutes of baking. So both sides are fully cooked. You can look at that color, it's pretty, and it's just like looks like sun, and it's individually they look like a paisley, and together they look like sun. I really hope you give this recipe a try. It's very easy, it's fun to make. If you have kids, they can definitely participate. This is Paris Rızai. It was very nice having you all in here, and I hope to see you soon. Enjoy your spring day. Bye.